Okay, welcome back, everybody. We had by viewer request. We had somebody want to see a takedown of the eXperior Wilson 9mm 1911 that we have. This is a single stack gun, so it's a more traditional gun. We keep it as a backup to my my X9L gun. So this gun lives in the truck. As a matter of fact, it's got a little condensation on it from being out, from being cold in the back of the truck. And so I'm gonna tear it apart and clean it today. This gun doesn't get shot all that much, but I think that's relative, for maybe your position watching this video. So according to shooting logs, this gun has 1,991 rounds through it, so just shy of 2,000 rounds, which is not a lot. And you can see by the condition of the finish, it's not really, it's got one little itty bitty little wear mark there on the takedown lever. So we've told the story before with this gun. We after getting the X9 gun, we had inquired with Wilson to see if we could maybe get a single stack gun that was more modern, like the X9 guns, with external extractor and some of the other things. And that's not something they really offered, but they did offer us this more traditional gun with a different way to approach the reliability of a 1911. And we accepted it, just kind of being nice, and we're pleasantly surprised because we figured we'd only keep it for a few weeks and just send it back. But we ended up eating crow and writing him a check to keep it because it ran so good. I didn't want to get rid of it. So I never really thought I would even run a traditional 1911 anymore, especially even one in 9mm, just for what we used to go through in the 90s. So I'm gonna tear it down, kind of show you guys the condition of it. So let's put this, see if I can get this push through it's got that recessed, I can quite get it almost right there. There we go, it's coming. There we go. I prefer to take a 1911 down by the slide stop, not turning the bushing. It's my own personal thing. I don't like to, I don't see a reason to put wear on a fitted bushing, but it's all relative, I guess, to what your goals are. So let me do this. Should have done it like that. Yeah. So there we go. So a lot of things to like about this gun. You know what? I'll even take the grip panels off too, because we're going to clean it. These should have the little O-rings underneath, and we'll kind of see where we're at here with almost. I thought that was going to be a little shallow. Okay, so maybe it's a little bit of OCD up. Plenty of lube under there. But I like to keep my my grip screws with where they are. So like I don't, if one's at the top on the left hand side and one's at the bottom on the left hand side, I like to keep them together. I try not to mix them. I mean, it's not really a big deal, but it's just something that I do to do what I. So also, by the way, I did spray paint these. That's why they're white, because I kind of like the white grips. So gun's not really that dirty. This is actually the gun that was, this is the actual, by the serial number, this is the actual gun that was featured, that is currently featured, last I checked, on Wilson's website. And this is also the gun, I believe, that went around to a bunch of the gun writers. And if you see a review of this gun when they first came out, this is the actual gun by serial number, and that would be 24576. So that's kind of cool. It's like, like a Hollywood gun. It's a famous gun. So, couple things that I think are worth pointing out on this gun versus a traditional 1911. You know what? Let's go ahead and do Let's do the extractor too. All right. And let's see if we can't try to be a little bit easy on it. I think that'll probably get her done. Yeah, we're almost there. And this being putting some effort into doing this. It's been a while since I've done one of these. This is an actual. It's not quite there yet. I may have to do something a little bit harder. So this is why I keep this. Yeah. It's been a while. Is that? There we go. And this is going to be, having this be a little bit finicky to take out is going to contribute, and that's definitely dirty. It's going to contribute a little bit, be a subject of, there you go. Yeah, still runs though. So let's go through it real quick. Some things that Wilson has done to this gun that has made the traditional 9mm 1911 more viable, which, you know, I approve of. So the first thing is, you'll see they do, we'll zoom in on it. They do what they call I think that's what they call it. It's a wave cut. So instead of having a straight rail across the frame on both sides, they have scalloped it. They've scalloped the rail so it alternates between contact surface and a dip. So some people will make an argument that maybe that collects dirt and grime if something gets on the rails, and you could certainly make that argument. But I believe the real benefit of this is especially a 5-inch 1911 and 9mm, but 9mm 1911s as a general rule. One of the problems is they are over railed and over lugged because they have rail and lugs really for 45 ACP, and so if they get dirty or they're on the edge of function, whatever reason, but the 9mm they tend to kind of fall apart. So this is a big deal. This contributes to keeping the slide from getting bound up or dragging. This gun is supremely accurate. I would imagine a lot of traditional 1911 folks may not like this, but we've had no problems with it. I actually prefer it. I would rather have every 9mm 1911 with some kind of wave cut because you have to deal with the rail issue. So Wilson has done that with these single stack eXperior guns. So traditional frame, but they wave cut the rails. Now, another thing they've done is if you look at, so any 1911 has lug recesses in the slide, right? I mean, that's traditional 1911. So this gun has a traditional 1911 45 ACP slide. However, what they've done is the radial lugs on this gun, there's the rear lug and the front lug, and also where you have the hood. So they have reduced the height of this forward lug. So they've cut that lug back. So there's not as much lug to lock up on the gun. What's a 9mm? You don't need those double radial lugs for 9mm. It's again over railed and over lugged. So they cut this lug down, and that contributes greatly for the gun to lock and unlock in combination with these rails for the gun to be reliable. Because back in the day, I would never have believed you could have gotten a 5-inch 9mm 1911 to run well. So they wave cut the rails, they cut back on the front lug, and the other nice thing is with this gun is you're still dealing with traditional 1911 parts. So 100 years from now, if you just wanted to buy a barrel, it's not a proprietary barrel, you could put a double lugged barrel in it if you wanted to, or you could cut the lug down, but it's a standard GI, standard 1911 barrel. And, you know, so it's standard parts, standard bushing, standard frame, and all that. And another thing they've done, and Wilson has done this with all of their traditional 1911s. Anyone who really is into the 1911 understands that one of the weaknesses of the system, well, the two main weaknesses of the system, are the extractor and the plunger tube. So on a traditional 1911 frame, there's not a whole lot Wilson can really do with the plunger tube. I think I don't know if they stake it. Do they stake it? Probably just stake. Let's see, one, 2. So it's just got 2 stakes for the plunger tube. But it used to be that you had to tune you have to adjust your extractor, your hooks. That's pretty slimy up there, right? But what you have to do is you'd have to bend your extractor hooks to get a certain amount of tension so the gun would cycle around properly, either in or out of the gun. Well, what Wilson has done these past, I don't know how many years, is instead of somebody bending this extractor, is they now machine the extractor with the curve in the extractor. So the reality is, if this was a straight extractor and you bent it over time, just by virtue of you using it or even it just sitting, the metal would want to straighten out because, you put tension on it and it wants to return to its natural state. Wilson is now manufacturing this 1911 style spring extractor. It's a glorified spring, but instead of having to bend the spring, they manufacture the curve in the spring. And it's 2023 January. In 1985 or in the 1990s, this would have been like rocket science. Like, this would have been like space age crazy. Like, what, you can do that? And so, when you look at this gun relative to more modern guns like their X9 gun, their X-frame guns, the X-frame guns are completely different. But Wilson understood that there are traditional 1911 guys, and so what Wilson did is they decided to take an approach of how to make a 1911 and 9mm more reliable, but not have it be all these proprietary parts. So this is what they've come up with. And, to repeat what I said when we started, that this wasn't a gun we didn't really believe would run well. And we were so wrong that we wrote them. We paid for it. There's no better endorsement than a checkbook endorsement, right? So anyway, this is the teardown of the inside of a Wilson eXperior single stack gun. They're double stack X-frame guns. The bottom is more like the X9 gun. So this is a more traditional single stack gun. So if you want to see any more stories or pictures and links of anything we discussed, please go to the website at john1911.com. That's JOHN1911.com. Remember, it's all about shooting guns and having fun. Everybody, have a good day.